Hello, everybody. I'm always afraid not to be polite and not to mention everything, and then people say, this guy, is not polite, so I'll mention, hello, everybody. But to you, my dear guest, we met but a few days ago. Meaning the meeting was good because today we had now a committee and I left it in the middle. I wouldn't do it for many people, but for a German friend, I do it immediately. So I came to see you again, and thank you very much for the hospitality. Now, this morning, in order to begin my speech, I had the, how would I say, terminological problem, because with my assistant, we spoke this morning, how should I start? He said you should start with who have won the war. Then I said to myself, if yesterday, two of my brave soldiers were killed in Gaza, and if all the hostages are not back, 3 of my soldiers, and the hostages are not back yet, so what does it mean? It means that the war is not over. It means that I maybe should say I've won battles, not a battle because it's battles, yet the war is not over. So I would change. I would say the war is not over. Let's be honest with ourselves. Of course, we'd like to be, to say that the war is over, but of tragic, because for us in Israel, every soldier is a world of its own. Every death is a world of its own. So I can't say that the war is over. Battles, and amazing battles. Our soldiers are very, very brave, but it's not over. Let's be honest. And if we were even more honest, I would say that in the last 2 or 3 decades, I had an analysis or a vision which I would call wishful thinking. It's very good, to take a terrorist, put him a blazer, why not also give him a Nobel Prize? And you can reduce the army and you can say, that's it. Not only the war is over, wars are over. We can even go look at Europe. Wars are over. The concept of war, who wants war? That's it. Humanity has reached such a level that we overcome all those hundreds of years, centuries of wars that we had. Because this is, we reached, we reached the dignified man where we don't need to fight anymore, but it's not the case. And although, as I told you in Germany, the book of Stefan Zweig, The World of Yesterday, has to be read by everyone today, still the Middle East, I'm very much afraid, and if I'm wrong, I won. But I'm afraid that even if the world will change, the Middle East will be the last one to change. That's what I think, that's my belief. So I think that my aim, my target, is maybe to reduce extremists and to increase moderates. This is, by the way, what the Abraham Accords are about. And don't forget, Europe, the continent that you come from, and we spoke about it in Germany, in Berlin, but a few days ago, the Abraham Accords, which are, for me, a very good platform with an amazing potential, weren't greeted very nicely in the EU in general. And why? Because of 2 specific reasons. First of all, because the man behind, of course, there was my prime minister, of course, but also President Trump, which how he was greeted at the beginning by Europe, talking about 2016. And of course, there's also the fact that all of a sudden, a concept that everybody believes in the world that you can't breathe without it. Fish can't swim at the sea without this idea. The world won't turn around and the sun won't shine if you will not have a 2-state solution. But it will, because it did for centuries and centuries. And thank God, the country that you represent, that you came from, did not follow this trend. This trend that is, by the way, not only comes from science fiction, not only dangerous, even ridiculous in a certain way. And I would like to thank Germany for that. I think that what you did was kind of amazing. But as I said before, the war is not over. And unfortunately, the sounds of guns are still being heard. Whether or not it is Hamas still targeting our soldiers or training weapons on the people of Gaza. And I believe that this will be a test international will resolve. Now you have to understand, 2 very, very long years, very tough years. Years that we never thought we're going to live. This is also something that we have to think about, because ever since 1948, this never again. In 1948, when you have a state and an amazing army like ours, never again, especially when you have Israel. So this is also something that we'll have to understand, and it will take us decades to understand how come this never again happened in this amazing, not only land of Israel, but the state of Israel, with its amazing army. Now we have held the line, And now we shall see if the regional forces will have the courage to implement a new vision. It's only not being there and not doing it. It's also the vision has to change. And to understand it's not, I mean, if we have the vision that we have in Israel, it's not because we don't like humanity or people or because we are conquerors. Not at all. I mean, the conqueror, the big Israel that you speak about, those conquerors that you speak about. We speak of a piece of land when you see demonstrations all over, including in Germany. But you know how to hold them, by the way. But when you see, when they speak of this imperialist Israel, Israel is a country that when you sneeze in the north, you need an handkerchief in the south. This is the big imperialist country that we speak about. But we want it secure. And this is why. This is why the borders of us are very important. And inventing states beside us that will endanger migration is something that I will not accept, never, ever. And by the way, as I said in Germany, and I say it also today in Jerusalem, I don't also, and I expect my friends also, when you support Israel and you support Israel, and it's a good thing that you do, never apologize. Never apologize. We're right now in Jerusalem, for example. And if we speak of one unified Jerusalem, we don't need to apologize. And if in 1989 I participated with you and I listened to Pink Floyd and I was so happy to see unified Berlin, and if all of us are praying for unified Korea, don't divide Jerusalem, please. And I believe this is something that you have to do. Anyway, as I said, I just came back from Germany. You know, they don't know. And by the way, it was amazingly organized by my talented friend, Dr. Michael Riemer, who works a lot. By the way, he deserves claps because he works a lot for the relationship between Israel and Germany of the Konrad Adenauer Foundation. By the way, when I was there, I thought of poor opposition. It's a pity Mr. Gantz has left, but I'm talking to my good friend that was in opposition before, and I would say that when I went to the Adenauer Institute, I sat there last week to give a speech, and I said to myself, I was thinking of the two members of opposition that were there, and why was I worried? Because Mr. Adenauer was chancellor till the age of 83. So, Amit Halevi, you know exactly what I think about. So I was worried also, but okay, you're worried a bit less, I believe. Anyway, I shall continue. I must also acknowledge the presence of a really great friend of Israel, who I had the distinct honor to meet on this trip, the Defense Committee Chair of the Parliament of the Bundestag, Mr. Thomas Raukapp, who really deserves our clap, a true friend of Israel. And really, I would like to thank you for that, especially in the 2 years when everybody's talking about the 7 fronts we're having, but the 8th one is so tough, and you were there for us in Europe, and these are things that we shall never forget. You know, part of being elected and working in maintaining ability to be practical, and something about yourself, maybe, I don't know if you remember, but we in Israel remember. I think that while Senator for Internal Affairs of Bremen, the city of Bremen, yeah, green and white, see, I know, Mr. Arkamp, had the clarity to expel a preacher of hate, an imam who incited violence. He believed and still believes in action instead of words and condemnation. And yes, our friend here understands strong prevention in resilience, preemption, and enforcement. And many people might think that the action of our good friend, the senator, was something that was done in the last 2 years. No, it was in 2006, I believe. And this shows it was almost 20 years ago. And it shows also, yes, Germany also has security challenges, and democracies must protect the citizens, and that's exactly what you do as chair of the Defense Committee in the German Parliament. Terror threats and extremist groups should always be taken at their word. This is something that you understand. This is something that in Israel we understood many years ago. Some in the world, especially demonstrators, don't really understand. They live in a fantasy land that we unfortunately cannot join. Now, yes, as we review our concepts and doctrines of national security, our fundamental ideas and philosophies, and we do that together because we're linked very closely. We should mention 2 connected ideas that we have, and the 2 years of war, grit of determination in face of the, in face of the media war, democratic delegitimization, social media narratives, we held fast. I think that this aligns very powerfully with Germany's Staatsräson, which is good for us because this is something that makes you understand us better. Many people don't understand that, but you in Europe understand us, and I can quote countries. I think of France, who's still your good friend and a member of the EU, Great Britain, who's not anymore, but they have difficulties in understanding, or Spain, of course, something that you in Germany understand perfectly well. I would maybe say, I won't take a lot of your time and I have to go back to my committee, but I would say one thing. You know, you see a lot of emotional images in the last 2 years. I mean, unfortunately, I joined politics, I told you, not many years ago. It's my first term. Never ever, when I joined politics, I thought that I will participate in so many funerals, tens and tens and tens, and go to see families, tens and tens and tens, hundreds. I'm not prepared for that. This was something really very strong, and we had also huge moments. Huge moments because, I mean, I leave Israel right now, and I'll take the plane and I'll fly with you very, very far away to show what is Israel. Why the state is here, the army is here, government is here, but people are here, the nation is here. What is Israel? A few months ago, I went to Japan to a meeting with the delegation headed by the Speaker of the Knesset, Mr. Amir Ohana. We went to Tokyo about a few weeks ago. And many people don't even know. I'm talking about where I'm heading is the sign of the hostages. Yeah. And this is something I will conclude with. And we went to Japan. Now, I don't really believe that the name of Megumi Yokota, anyone heard the name? I guess you didn't hear the name. You didn't hear the name. Megumi, in the 15th of November, 1977, went back from school to her home. She was 13 years old and was hijacked, kidnapped by a North Korean. It's a little town beside the sea, and she was kidnapped to Pyongyang, I don't even know where. 1977. We're 2025. Still 14 Japanese hostages in North Korea. 17 were taken, 17, in the 70s and 80s. And Japan in its constitution cannot really fight back. To those who say, I mean, you should be pacifist, you should be kind, you should be gentle to your neighbors, then everything will be okay. They're still waiting for their hostages. Where I'm heading, because this is Israel. Unfortunately, fortunately, strength is the answer. And the boys that came, I mean, the 7th of October, people did not wait for the state or the army to call them. They came alone because this is Israel. Now you have to understand, we don't fight because we're Rambos or because we like all those military wars or films or movies. We do that because this is an obligation. Because the 20 last who are alive came back, thank God. I think because of our strength. I'm sure I'm confident. We're still waiting for all of them to come back, and we shall do anything for them to come back. But as I said last week in the Adenauer Institute when I was invited, I had maybe one of the most emotional images that I've seen in this war, and it has to do with one of our best friends, which is Germany today, really our best friends. Who would have believed 8 decades ago? The symbol of the Chatufim, the symbol of the hostages, in the colors of the German flag. And that's an image that is historically amazing. I would like to thank you for this symbol. Toda rabah. Thank you so much.
Don't run away. We have 2 questions.
So I'm here.
So stay. So who wants to ask a question, please? או מי רוצה בבקשה? אתה צריך.
Hello.
Okay,
Mr. Biesman, thank you so much for this talk. We are speaking here today at the brink of the negotiations for the second phase of the Gaza ceasefire. And you mentioned at the beginning the attack yesterday. I would like to ask you, what is the ideal outcome for Israel on this second phase?
You need a microphone.
Yeah, it's a commodity that's a rare commodity.
It's easy. I don't even need to think a lot. And why do I say the war is not over? Because, I mean, you've got in this war, as much as I remember, and my friend, Member of Parliament Amit Halevi, who was with me in the Foreign Affairs Committee, remembers better than me, that we, a few days after the beginning of the war, that there are objectives to a war. So what do I expect? Objectives to be achieved. This is what I expect. And as much as I remember the objectives, I mean, Hamas can't be in Gaza, can't control anything in Gaza, but anything. And this is something that I expect. I think that any country in the world wouldn't permit. I'm trying to imagine. Let's imagine right now you've got a terrorist group in Spain, just beside France. So you think that people who live in, let's think of Saint-Jean-de-Luz or Biarritz, would accept to live if behind the border in Spain, in San Sebastian, you've got, for example, a terrorist group? No, nobody would accept. But when it comes to Israel, I mean, not only we have to accept, we have to stop the war, not only that, I mean, even concerning our enemies, which is a terrorist group, which is Hamas, we shall find a definition, and by saying political branch, when it comes to the Middle East, you never see that in Boko Haram. Political branch of political Haram. Did you ever hear that? Political branch of Al-Qaeda. Did you ever hear such a thing? Maybe you heard, I didn't. Political branch of ISIS. When it comes to the Middle East, you should always find a legitimacy to a terrorist group. This is something that I cannot accept. I don't want any presence of Hamas in Gaza. Of course, all the hostages which are back. So as long as I don't have this, I cannot go to a peace state of mind. And I even know that even when it will come back, you said, what is my hope? What is my desire? What is my wish? What is my dream? There is something that was not done, is not being done. And this is why you tend to make a lot of mistakes, not you specifically, but people, I mean, who cover, who follow. You can be in press, in media, you can be in research institute. You never also analyze, check, do research about people. And this is why we make mistakes. I'll give you an example. 2011, the Arab Spring. My friend here, my host, knows perfectly well, better than anyone else, Egypt, I think. She knows well Egypt. Arab Spring, democracy. I remember Thomas Friedman was sitting beside me. I covered the event. I was there, not as who I am, but as a journalist. Democracy. But go and see people. Not only democracy, it was Islamist who was born again in Egypt. Again for Hamas. See also the people. So what is my dream? That my neighbors, you want to call them Palestinians, you want to invent a nation, call them Palestinians if you want. But for them, I mean, to grow up and to understand that we're here forever and change their state of mind. Because the problem is not also Hamas, the problem is also the people beyond the border who are fascinated by the 7th of October. So what is my dream? That thank God, finally, they will want to, they understand that I'm here to stay forever. Thank you.